Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm putting on the countdown. Be right back.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock and trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves,
Nobody's in that
success.
bed.
Together we'll
You can
conquer
move the
the
blankets all you want.
Every morning
Nobody's in that bed. I promise you nobody's in that bed. Sorry, I'm messing with the dogs. Guiding me through my hopes and fears. Do you have fears today? Good morning, Wendy. All eggs here. She's just crying because for some reason she thought Penny was in the bed or something. I don't know what she's doing. She cried. I got up. I picked up the blanket. She stared at me and did nothing. Ears. I got a lot to go over today.
And fears.
Guiding me through my hopes and fears.
Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now.
Okay. We'll come back here. Where is this one? Let's open this. And it goes Seeking Alpha Premium after Trendspider Tools. So this one goes here. Yep. Okay. Boy. By the way, anybody that doesn't call me an investing expert after this call on Wednesday, when I said, you know, the title says it all. Likes large cap tech and energy. I mean, the title says it all. Do you like energy, Larry? And we'll go over, today's going to be it's by the dip. So just so you know, I will be saying it again, by the dip. I bought stocks last week. So I'm starting to buy the dip. Why? I mean, I'm starting to buy the tech dip because I think that trend line might get broken. Yeah, did MPLX up 1.5%. I mean, that quickly went from a $50 stock to a $60 stock. That's crazy. I mean, that was a $50 stock back here, January 8th. You know, it was a $53 stock here on January 26th. It was a $54 stock here on February 13th. After a 7% annual dividend yield, when you got paid, I mean, that went down to 53. Crazy good. I mean, look at that. 50 to 60, just pump. Is it the best energy out there? No, I don't think so. I think there's others. Let me see. This one, by the way, if anybody's got LITE, which my note says I gave on February 9th at 594, and you're at 752. And then a top 2026 stock, that's up 40% and up 7% again today. Yeah, but all I'm doing is selling things. So no use in listening to me at all.
Are you crying?
That's me. It's not the dogs, it's me. Let me make sure my keyboard's not going to die in the middle of this. Bluetooth, keyboard's at 40%. We're good. We are good. And Clawbot, by the way. Yeah, LIT. That was one of the best. Good God. Ironically, it's funny because IBIT was up like 1% this morning and it's pulled back. I thought crypto might get a bid here, but probably not. So, it's red except for MPLX, Palantir, IBIT, and Exxon. Exxon's up 4.7. This is probably because, morning, Harold. This is probably because of the natural gas stuff. Qatar, I think I'll have it later, but Qatar actually shut down their natural gas. So I'm going to go and hit record because I actually have a 12 o'clock meeting with Trendspider. So I got to get off here so that I'm done prior to that. Because we're working together. Morning, Jennifer. Dubai. George, thoughts and prayers, man. That's hopefully you're okay. It's it's a political day, so expect some rants. And if you're gonna get upset at my political rants, probably tune out now. Morning, Donovan. Because the reality is, promised no forever wars and openness on the Epstein files and morning vacation guy. Make no mistake, we invaded because Clinton brought up Trump in his deposition on the Epstein files. That's been knocked out of the news. So, okay. I'm going to freewheel a little bit today, but you can't see it. There are hundreds of tabs open on my desktop right now. So hit the thumbs up button. I don't know how many people are here. Let me plug this in. I'm going to tune in and hit the thumbs up for myself. Not charging. Oh, yeah, because it's at 100%. Let's see. Let's go here. And I have the two cameras. Oh. Why does that go big and then small and then big and small? I don't get it. I'm getting alerts on my iPad for some reason. Yeah, my water's over here. My iPad should be in Do Not Disturb. I've got an iMac back here, an old Intel iMac that I've got like juiced up with a ton of memory that I might install CloudBot OpenClaw on. I was Googling it this weekend and it says it'll work. It'll just be slow. But good God, that could save me a lot of time, I think. From the office. You're offline. Why am I offline? I'm not offline. One plan, 6 individual household accounts. Bring back TV lineups. Let's see. I'll hit the thumbs up button. There's 28 people in here and only 8 thumbs up. So... there we go. Now there's 9. So I'm going to shrink that down. We're going to get rid of that. I love The Office. I love The Office. Okay. Let's get into it. Good morning. It is Monday, March 2nd. Big show. It's going to be another long one. Just so you know, I'll probably go on some rants. But not to toot my own horn. But last week on Wednesday, I was on a thing called the Investing Experts podcast on Seeking Alpha, and you can find it on Spotify. It is out there free. So if you want to, you can listen to it. If you do listen on Spotify, drop a comment on their thing. And if you listen here on Seeking Alpha, drop a comment as well. But on Wednesday, hey, energy, MPLX, Devon, Schlumberger, TRGP, pretty good call there. So not to toot my own horn, but now I know why they have me on Investing Experts podcast. And let me start this out. Okay, because I do want to start this out. It's my mom's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. I was going to call her on air, but I didn't. I will probably call her later. But I used 1-800-Flowers. And turns out I had to change the delivery date of the actual flowers. So last night at like 8 o'clock, I was sitting there and I was chatting with, it was supposed to be delivered today. I was chatting with 1-800-Flowers on iMessage, and they were definitely using AI. So if you've used AI before, it's this annoying kind of bot thing where it looks like it's typing because they wanted human interaction and stuff. It's no longer that. It is literally like 4 or 5 detailed sentence answers within a split second. So they were absolutely using it. Incredibly efficient, absolutely accurate with what I wanted it to do. I tried to throw it curveballs by misspelling things, changing the date of the order with no, it took less than 1 minute and 3 or 4 messages. That's it. Customer service phone center jobs are absolutely going to get reduced. I can imagine this being an airline, okay? If any of you have ever been out there where a flight gets canceled and you have to go to customer service to do that, imagine an airline flight gets canceled and everyone is automatically rebooked with only 3 messages to back and forth for the customers. Interesting, right? It's not the big story of the day, but I do want to point out that this weekly chart of QQQ, and I've been saying it for months now. Hey, these indicators are stretched. See that red box up there? I've been saying this since February 17th because that's the day last year where we lost confirmation and it went down. Where did we lose confirmation this time? February 2nd. Okay, it's not 1-to-1. But I've been saying it. I didn't know what would happen. Last year's market just indicated as we get stretched above that trend line, and you can see we've been stretched above that trend line since October. As we get there, it needs to just come back down. Okay? So I want to take you through today by starting you out as we go through today and you look at your portfolio. Understand what you own, how things have changed. Did things change? Do you own a drone manufacturer because they're way up today? Do you want to take some profits because any reaction in the market is an overreaction? Do you own Palantir? And if not, do you want to buy it? It's up 3% today because this one may be a buy the dip situation. That's always a way for me to understand how to stay calm. For instance, Micron. Is anybody buying less memory because we're at war with Iran? And meanwhile, you're down around that $400 level, which makes sense to buy it at, in my opinion. I bought it $412 last week. Does it make sense for me to sell that? Absolutely not. Does memory all of a sudden come into play where they're buying less? No. So again, as we go through today, even airlines, for instance, okay? Yes, their costs are going to go up, but I just pointed out to you how they're going to actually cut costs. And you saw it with Block. They laid off almost half the staff last week. Why? They're going to do just as much with fewer people. These are the types of things I look at when I'm managing my portfolio. And I want to point something out because I said, hey, last week, Netflix, it's going to go to $100. Well, it almost made it there on Friday. It hit $96.75. So you had plenty of time to buy that. It's a $100 stock. Are people cutting their Netflix subscriptions because we're going to war with Iran? Probably not. Add to it Microsoft, under $400. Okay? I think this is a great long-term buy. I think that 552 all-time high up there that we hit, I think that's going to get back in the stock. Do I think it's going to happen this year? It could. Probably next year, almost for certain. It's a good business. And Amazon at 205. It doesn't mean they're not gonna go lower. These stocks can absolutely go. I remember feeling these fears like this and regretting not buying these businesses. Remember April of last year? If we just go to the weekly, April of last year, where Amazon got to 160. Long term, I think both of these companies figure it out. And Chris Camillo is all in on Amazon. It's a quiet bet on Anthropic, which is the #1 app on the App Store right now. It is an amazing, amazing company. So I do think that those two businesses, are they affected by this war? No. Are they coming down even further? Yes. And so if you want strategies, okay, Mark Minervini turned $250,000 into $2.7 million in 15 months by following 5 simple rules. And it's trading. Only buy the strongest stocks in the strongest markets. The chart tells you everything. Risk management is your survival tool. Buy at the right time, the breakout point. Let winners run, cut your losers fast. He did all that. And you can sit there and look at charts, or you can just import it into Trendspider. Again, the tools you have make a difference. He's an investing legend. And yes, Trendspider has investing legends. These things, the trend template, it basically guides you through a color-coded chart that tells you when Minervini would buy and when he would sell. And these are all scanners. So when you go into your Trendspider setup, I've imported them. Okay, we can look at this VCP detector. We can look at these, okay? Say this one, trend template perfect score. What is this? The scan identifies stocks that meet all 10 of Minervini's trend template criteria in the S&P 500. It evaluates daily price, moving averages, relative performance. The criteria, relative performance above 70, price above the 50, 150, and 200s. SMA alignments. Price at least 30% above the 52-week low, price within 25% of its 52-week high, rising 200-day SMA. Very simple, but we can look at this one if we go to Minervini and the perfect score right here, and it'll pull up all of these symbols, okay? AES, APA. We can look at them. Let's look at the change, because there's one up 4% right now. Exxon is actually in that one. Exxon is up 5%. So again, if you want these, you can import them into your Trendspider setup. If you don't have Trendspider, go over to Linktree, okay? LINKTR. Literally, the link is typing out below my head right now. And it's the top link. And you can get a 2-week trial for probably less than what you pay for a Chipotle bowl. So again, you can just import these. If you sign up for an annual plan, you get my 4-hour algorithm as well, which you can see here on Exxon. Got you in at $118. You were at $152. I said don't buy at that 118. Wait for it to break above 119. It pulled back to that 119. You had the chance right here. You could have bought it again. So again, whether you're doing something with this or not, have the tools that you need. And another tool, Seeking Alpha Premium. I'll tell you, okay? I was listening to CNBC on Friday, and I saw this U. And what I liked about this was this U. I said, I saw the CEO on CNBC this morning. She was fantastic, bullish, and said all the right things, making me think this is one to invest in. And yes, it was up big. This was up big on earnings. This was selling for around $32. It's at $48 right now. I loved that when I put in this reminder, okay, I can set an alert. I can set an alert for later on if I want to follow it up in a week or not. Again, Seeking Alpha Premium. And I want to point out the top 2026 stocks. because the top 2026 stocks, if I just go in here and I type in Video Hub, let's go do the Video Hub. And I look, what's the top 2026 stocks? Okay. I'll put one out there right now. You want one right now? We'll look at two stocks. LITE, which I'll go and put on I brought this up on the 9th of February at $594. Okay. Gave this out a buy because I saw the CEO on CNBC on Friday. They own photonics cables. This will replace copper and credo. This stock is just getting started, as it's not just Google TPUs. It's all interconnect. Okay. 594. You're at 750 today. 750 today. Why? Because they announced an NVIDIA partnership. And the other stock, I won't mention it here, but you can see it on the screen. The other stock, it is a top 2026 stock. I just went over that. Top 2026 stocks. Again, you can go and look at that video on the Video Hub. But four of this year's top 10 stocks, they are up 40% year to date, including the one that you're seeing on the screen. So if you like it, I was talking, here's the top 2026 stocks, by the way, if you want to watch that video. But I was talking with a friend this weekend, a very famous friend, by the way. You've heard me mention him before, but I was on the phone with him on Friday, showing him literally Trendspider's Sidekick, which we'll go over in a little bit. But I was on the phone with him, and he said, I just got into this stock, IPI. It's a potash fertilizer. It's the only one in the U.S. They are the USA's potash king. So I put it in to Perplexity. Use the tools that you have. My friend just told me about IPI is the only potash company in the U.S. right now. Act as a hedge fund manager who's pitching the stock to clients as the next best investment. The hedge fund is making, and you're talking to a group of 15-year-olds. Include both technical and fundamental information about the mode of the business. So it went into this short one, technical screaming buy. The chart's firing on all cylinders. Stock around $37, up 6% lately, crushing the market with 42% yearly gains. Moving averages all say buy, short and long term. RSI neutral, not overbought at 60. It's bouncing on its horizontal trend, ready to rocket higher on volume. Recent quarters beat estimates. Dump some allowance into IPI right now because he's talking to 15-year-olds. It's our hedge fund's alpha play for food security boom as world hungers for more crops. So that's Perplexity. Okay? I also did this in Sidekick. And I went in here and I said comprehensive. I basically said, can you do a full Wall Street style analysis of IPI for me? Strengths, weaknesses, a fair price. Remember, Perplexity said it's a screaming buy. What did Sidekick say? Hey, wait for a better entry. Remember, Sidekick has more data than Perplexity does, because Perplexity is just going out to the main internet with trash. Sidekick, it's a walled garden. It agrees this is a great business and they have executed exceptionally well. Okay? Debt-free, strong 2025 performance, trio momentum, domestic positioning. The negatives, weather headwinds for 2026, expensive on a PE basis, single analyst with sell rating, cyclical commodity exposure. The action plan, your current holders take profits above 35. Let's look at the chart on this one, because it's pretty impressive. If you bought the low here in November, which my friend did, he's been loading into this. Again, you're doing really, really well. It's up 5% this morning. The RSI, now it's screaming overbought. When you look at the weekly, though, this one more likely has room to run. What was this? This was the Ukrainian situation, the Ukraine war. That's what drove this one up. It's been in a downward spiral. But it seems to be, again, to my friend's point, the balance sheet looks amazing. The difference between Sidekick and Perplexity, the Sidekick answer gives me much more. It says the action plan. Current holders take profits above 35. Potential buyers wait for a pullback to 28 to 30. Aggressive traders buy weakness to 30, 32 with a stop loss at 27. My alerts are set. Sidekick did everything for me. I didn't have to do a damn thing. So let's talk about another one. Alpha Picks. Alpha Picks, we get one at noon today. Did you know? Again, we're talking year to date. And when you look at QQQ, year to date, it's traded sideways. We haven't gone up. Yet Alpha Picks, did you know that 19 of the current portfolio members of Alpha Picks are up 10% or more? 7 Alpha Picks are up 40% or more year to date. Again, this is a portfolio that's GARP, growth at a reasonable price. The January 1st pick up 17%. The January 15th pick up 16%. The August 2nd pick, because you get one on the 1st, one on the 15th. The market wasn't open on the 1st, so we got one February 2nd, up 9%. The one just picked on the 17th of February, the pick is flat, down 1.5%. Expect it to be a good year. Again, all of this is available here at Linktree. You can just click on the links. The one that I suggest is taking what I just told you about Seeking Alpha Premium, pairing it with Alpha Picks. I will be live on Substack this afternoon at 12 for Alpha Picks. In Friday's recap, Steve pointed out gold miners against the GDX. I will put this chart in the newsletter. It outpaced the market. Miners and Alpha Picks, they all averaged 10% gain in the last week. The returns have been great. Again, this is just Alpha Picks. This isn't even Seeking Alpha Premium. But the returns, the strength of the approach is reflected in the portfolio results. 14 of the current 40 Alpha Picks, they've delivered returns above 100%. And the portfolio is delivering an outstanding 293% versus the S&P's 80%. And here's something to think about the Alpha Picks portfolio. Again, it's growth at a reasonable price. They don't always stay in that category. And that's why I use Trendspider to trade them as well. The war, Micron, I just went over it. That's an Alpha Pick. Did Micron all of a sudden, does that mean that, hey, we're going to get 4% fewer orders because it was down 4%? Are we going to get 4% fewer orders because of the war? I would answer no. The market is identifying risk premium and applying sentiment to the price. This is where you can buy the dip. So let's talk about year to date. Here are your winners. SanDisk, AAOI, which I will go over, which just popped up there Friday based on stuff. Bloom Energy, Western Digital, CRML, Applied Materials, Micron, Kava, which I just went over, Figs, ASML. Do you own any of these? I have 7 of them on my watch list. I only own one. It's clearly an AI market. Okay, Anthropic's Claude tops Apple's ranking of free apps. This has been OpenAI's territory. They have owned it since 2023. It's clearly an AI market because you want to know what number 2 is? It's OpenAI. You want to know what number 3 is? It's Google Gemini. That's on Apple's Play Store, Apple's App Store. Sorry, Play Store is Google. But it's clearly an AI market. And Chamath, okay? I am not a fan of Chamath at all. But he's spot on with his sentiment here. His assessment of the market, it's spending for the hyperscalers because the market thinks AI can't monetize at the pace that they are spending. And at the same time, software is going down. Okay? It needs to reweight. We can look at the biggest cybersecurity stock, and yes, it's software. And what's it trading? 40 times forward earnings. Why? Because their growth was so good. Their PEG rating is 2.85. Again, they are making a ton of money. Profitability is an A in the quant. Its growth, though, it's only 15%. And with their acquisitions being integrated, it's even going down on an earnings per share gap growth going forward. So again, it's re-rating these kinds of software stocks, and it's all based on the spending that the hyperscalers are doing. I think he hit it out of the park here. And financials on Friday got absolutely destroyed because of credit crunch. There was a UK mortgage lender that collapsed. We've seen this story in 2008 before. If you just go and look at VOO and we look at a monthly, I want to show you what the 2008 collapse did to, we're going to have to go to SPY because I think VOO came in. Let's look at a monthly chart because I want to show you exactly what that did. This big dip right here, that was 2008. And we just had a mortgage lender in the UK collapse. Okay, then you have CoreWeave. Because CoreWeave came in with their earnings and they said, ooh, we're not really doing that well. We're spending a lot of money. The stock went from 100 to 79. Again, they will not be profitable. Goldman Sachs was down 9%. American Express was down 8%. This one is in free fall. It's flat today. 4-hour algorithm got you in the morning, got you right out in the afternoon. It was not good. But this particular one, I think you could buy the dip on this one. Why? Because American Express are those upper level customers. Where's the credit risk? It's a macro concern of mass layoffs in white collar that I think is taking this down. But it's time to start looking at some of these things. And one of the things with banks going down, DPST. Look at this collapse of DPST just in the last week. Now, on a weekly basis, this is a decaying asset. It doesn't make sense to actually buy this for a long term. But you can see it's just trading sideways on a weekly basis. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 87%. Again, a benefit of Trendspider is having a strategy that tells you when to buy the dip. This one, you make 87% over the last 2 years. I would take that in a heartbeat. It wins 50% of the time, 46%. If you just bought and held, your average win is 13%. This is a triple leveraged ETF on regional banks. All the airline stocks, by the way, on Friday, airline stocks took a nosedive based on the Middle East strikes. Do you think that people are flying less? This is because of the oil prices and the cost. So if we just go and look at airlines and we look at American Airlines, look, these grades are pretty good. It's a hold in the quant. What's the number one airline out there? One that I gave you before, Love. It's a strong buy. Its valuation, very kind of reasonable. Growth is fantastic. Profitability is the only problem. Momentum is fantastic. Look at this stock return. 3 months, 40%. 6 months, 48%. Again, know what you own. But all of this is going on. Meanwhile, we have a war. We have a Fed president coming up for his confirmation with his Warsh, and that's not done yet. So we've got a war in Iran now, distinguishing short-term shocks from long-term winners. It's a buy the dip market. On Saturday morning, Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and many top regime leaders were killed in a strike on Tehran. This is a great overview. Outlook: in the long run, investors will reward the nations and companies capable of not only defending their interests, but also providing security for others. That includes regions that will ripe for investment, as well as corporations involved in defense contracting. You're seeing it today. So it's probably a pretty good buy the dip situation because Ryan, who we've been watching and has been saying, hey, this is a pretty good time to buy, even at all-time highs. A list of major geopolitical events since World War II, up a median of 5% 6 months later. All of them felt really bad at the time. And again, if you go and look at QQQ, does it feel really bad? Because it's only at 598, that support line at 585, my guess, we probably go below it. I am waiting for this dip. I anticipated it. I like it. I will be buying this dip. Oil. This will have consequences on oil prices, most likely spiking. Trump wants oil lower. This will get a huge reaction. So you've got two ETFs, UCO, which is a triple leveraged bull, which you can see as the price of oil has gone up. This has shot up. Since January 9th, trading at 20, it's now at 25. The inverse of this is SCO, and you can see it. Since January 7th, it's crashed. So you can trade these two back and forth if you want to trade. Okay, if you don't want to trade, you don't have to. But the ability of having this skill in your tool bag during this time is a great thing. Okay, and here's how assets do during oil shocks. That's what we're in right now. You're seeing oil is up like 2%, 7% today, 8% today. It's up big. And if energy does what gold did, Trump is going to be out of his mind with trying to lower the price of oil. That would point to SCO being a good bet. Now, do I think you go in and load into SCO? No, I think you trade these on a very short time basis. We're talking probably hourly, probably, not even a 4 hour might not do as well. But it's going to push defense stocks higher. Here's your oil and gas exploration production stocks. Here's the good ones, and you can rank them by quant rating. So again, Qatar just this morning shut down their plants pushing natural gas. LNG, Cheniere is up 6% in pre-market. Wall Street has it as a strong buy. Their average price target, 268. Where are you trading in pre-market? 250. With 20% of the world's natural gas coming out of the Middle East, that's probably pretty good for this U.S. producer of natural gas who can actually ship it to other places. So again, I like this one. My pick in the energy place, and I've always said this, is MPLX. This is up 1%. Why? Well, look at the freaking chart. The chart has been explosive. This, at the beginning of the year, was a $50 stock. It's now at $58. Plus, you've gotten one dividend because its yield, by the way, let's look at MPLX here. Its yield is 7.31%. So again, it's a pretty good, I'll be using Sidekick and my tools to find out where support and resistance for the stocks that I have. I'll manage my portfolio according to my risk tolerance and making decisions for short term and long term. That's what I'm going to do. Drone manufacturers rally. I brought up Kratos, KTOS. I brought AVAV. I'm not in any of these. They don't fit my risk tolerance, but I know some people who are. And I think I have lithium. I don't have a drone watch list. But AVAV, I brought this one up because it's a look. It's actually attached to Palmer Luckey's defense company, which is private right now, but it will probably be one of the largest IPOs. He's buddies with this CEO. So it's a tie-in there. And you want defense stocks. They're volatile on the rising U.S. tensions. You can see Carmen Holdings up 6%. Kratos up 6%. Lunar down to 3%. I don't know why. Mercury Systems. Northrop Grumman is up 5%. And Northrop Grumman, it's not a strong buy in the quant. This has been incredibly good. I mean, look at the momentum. 27% on 3 months. 23%. On 6 months, 52%, 9 months, 57% over 1 year. Again, this is going to be a big move. So I'll be using Sidekick to find all of that. Now, Chris, VG, Venture Global. Some of the main reasons why Venture Global could be a winner, major beneficiary of the current situation in Iran and U.S. with the Straits of Hormuz. Number one, short-term oil, not gas. And we're seeing, by the way, Venture Global, I don't think it's a strong buy in the quant. It's a strong sell. But it's up 15% in pre-market. And Chris points it out here. It should be on your watch list. And a lot of these guys are taking this up on Twitter. And I can't believe, by the way, where is this? Why didn't I go over this one earlier? Yeah, the war in Iran. Oh, let's look at some of this. Let's look at, before I go into the stock, Jim Cramer, he's crying on here. This is kind of like the Meta, when he cried about Meta. He's crying because he chose to sell his Google and buy more Microsoft. And I brought it up at the beginning. I can't believe I agree with Cramer, but he's saying, hey, Microsoft, it's a very good stock to buy. Now, his average basis is $311. So he's been doing pretty well. His last trade, 12.2. PE ratio of 22. This is a stock that I think is a buy. He diversified. He went out of Google because he thought Google was losing and into Microsoft. I hate it. I hate that. I own both Microsoft and Google. I do trade them on chart sense. So when you see Microsoft hitting an all-time high, okay, like it did way back here in August, it was July 31st. And then it hits it again. When it hits it a second time in October, I trim. And then as it starts to go down below that 200-day, I start to trim. Now, at what point do I start to add? When we get confirmation over that 9-day and the 9 and 21 start to move. Same thing with Google. These are long-term buys for me. So as we get down towards this 200-day, you're starting to trim. You don't want to see this one go down. At $300 on Google, it's probably going to provide support. Look at the MACD. Look at the RSI. Trimming is not a bad thing. Look at the weekly on this one. It's still stretched. And one stock that I found, this one, AAOI, this was all over my feed this weekend on Twitter. It was all over. AAOI was all over. Is it a crazy one? This is a photonics one. And I wrote the note on Friday, up 50%. It was up 57% on Friday at $84. I had this in my AI fabric portfolio, but I think it can continue to go. And then I see that Utum, again, I'll bring up all of the Twitter stuff. AO, it looks like an early SanDisk. It's likely to go much higher. After earnings, AAO could easily be a $25 billion to $30 billion company next year from $5 billion because they're in the likes of Light, Cohere, FN, AVGO. So they'll likely get that America premium like Intel and Taiwan Semi and Micron did compared to SK Hynix. Again, all over my Twitter feed. AO feels like, just FYI, this is the same dude who's pumping this stock, but it's up 57% on Friday. Their earnings report is genuinely black magic. Light, $50 billion, and AAOI is at $5 billion. Light is expected to do $4 billion to $5 billion in 2027. AAOI is guiding to $4 billion in revenue during that same year and has a market cap of $5.75 billion. Meanwhile, Light has a market cap of $50 billion. And this one, it's a buy from Wall Street, but it's a $77 price target. And they're at 105 in pre-market. 105, up another 25%. Okay? It has gone parabolic. Absolutely parabolic. This one, Education Saturday, AAOI, Light, Poet, Cohere, GLW. New to photonic stocks and wondering why are they going parabolic? Let's break it down. This guides you as to why they're going parabolic. And then one of my favorite analysts, Udom, he says, buy applied optoelectronics, but be very careful. Again, using the tools that you have, he outlines exactly why it's a good stock to buy, but you need to be careful. So what's my game plan? I went over to Sidekick and I said, hey, post earnings, can you give me a 6-month, 1-year, and 5-year outlook based on the option sentiment and market sentiment with full chart? Yes. and it goes over. Strong beat on both metrics. Analysts post earnings, raise price target, upgrade sell to neutral, raise price target from $15 to $54. They were forced to do that by reality. Options flow, heavy institutional activity, insider activity, recent selling by the CFO. It's just scheduled. Support and resistance level, immediate support 75 to 77. And it gave me a game plan. My assessment, stay away from chasing at $84. And FYI, it's up at what? 105 right now. It says stay away at 84. So I'm not going to buy at 104. Stock is up 57% in 1 day and 5 times in 6 months. It's up 500% in 6 months. Extreme FOMO buying after earnings. Consider buying on these conditions. A pullback to 65 to 70 after Q1 earnings, which is May 7th. If they deliver on 800G ramp guidance, buy it. If they announce major customer orders, watch for the press releases on $200 million orders. 6-month outlook, bullish. Target 70 to 100. We've already passed 105. 1 year, target 90 to 140. 5 year, speculatively bullish. Price target $200 plus. Final recommendation, wait for a better entry point. The story is compelling and fundamentals strong support long term, but the short-term technical setup is dangerous after 57% gap up. Action plan, set alerts for 68 to 70. Again, it sets up all of my alerts. Let's see, this is AAOI. Look at it. Is it going higher? Well, it's up another 25% right here. What's its all-time high? 101. That's the indicate. This is just a look at stocks. When you look at a weekly and you see something take off like this, if we had seen this hit the 200-day back here, it could have been a buy the dip in that situation. It could have been a buy the dip here April 21st. It will pull back to these levels. So be patient. Patience in the market is key. And you want to know what you're buying. And here's the full photonics game plan. GPUs like NVIDIA and accelerates from AMD, they need Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. They need these photonics. So here's the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7. The pluggable units deployed in racks, AAOI, LITE, Cohere, and FN. What's happening structurally? Demand is outrunning supply. Companies like Cohere are expanding. Cohere's up. Cohere's up like, 7% today? After being up 40% year to date? This is up 7%. Year to date, this one's up 40%. So again, photonics, it's a big area that you want to have a watch list in. And here, more parameters, longer. Every trend in AI points to the same 2 bottlenecks, memories and optical interconnects. That's LITE, Corning, GLW, AAOI, AXTI, Micron, Taiwan Semi, EWY. It's all pointing towards that. Have it in a watch list. Okay? Hyperscaler data center capacity. This is another sector that I really like. I own IREN and I own Nebius. And Stanley Druckenmiller, I can unequivocally tell you that technical analysis is 20% as effective today as it was. So he doesn't care about technicals. He's looking at actual businesses and says, hey, these could fly. And gold, I continue to say, instability increases the gold buy. Miners that Alpha Picks has in their portfolio, and remember, I pointed this out. This portfolio, a lot of it is because of the gold miners that they started adding into back in June of last year. And gold-backed cryptos indicate the rally in the yellow market. So again, rallying 5,600, hello 6,000 for gold. And is it time to start buying software? Because I was looking over my journal from last April. I said, okay, when did I buy the dip last year? And I noticed something. I noticed that last year it was notes like Wall Street's not buying yet. It's all retail. this could blow up in everybody's face. I remember notes, and I read notes like that in my journal. Well, now retail was right in buying that dip back in March and April of last year. And we can look at it in QQQ. I mean, let's just look at the weekly on QQQ. And if you look at a weekly chart on this one, they were absolutely right to buy this dip. And if you saw the indicators on the MACD under the oscillator, the RSI at a 28 level, that identified close to the bottom. It was the next week that was the bottom. But and when Trump put in, it's a good time to buy stocks. So is it a good time to buy software? Microsoft, I just brought up. AppLovin has been doing great. But I'll tell you, a barbell strategy can help combat volatility. What a barbell strategy is, my barbell is I have VOO and QQQ, and then I have a large amount in Alpha Picks. That helps me. Why? Because Alpha Picks is GARP, growth at a reasonable price. QQQ is tech. And then VOO is the S&P 500. All have back-tested returns that have, VOO is the market. QQQ has beaten VOO, and Alpha Picks has beaten VOO. So a barbell strategy. Steve Kress here is giving you 6 stocks that on the quant makes sense to buy for a barbell strategy approach. And again, gold rallies above 5,400. All of this uncertainty, we're spending billions of dollars on another war that we don't have. We're paying more in interest as a U.S. country than we are on the actual debt for the first time. So you have to know what's coming up. Catalyst, jobs report. We're going to get new Apple products, a spotlight on software. There's going to be all of this stuff in this Catalyst watch gets overblown by the Iran war. Just understand that. You won't hear about the new Apple products unless it's something crazy, unless you're not paying attention to the war. But you're going to hear about the war. So pick the stocks that you like. Pick some catalysts this week that might happen. You've got CrowdStrike earnings. You got Raw Stores. You got Best Buy. You got On. You've got a ton of stocks continuing to report. You've got Broadcom. Okay, you've got Okta. And you've got Apple's, again, their event with new products. You've got Costco reporting. You've got Marvell Technologies. You've got Ciena. You've got a bunch of earnings this week that will help push the market. Earnings continues to be the spotlight because, again, earnings are driving this market higher. It's the catalysts that are pushing it lower because for some reason, when you look at this, the market doesn't want to go above that 630. We've already started to come back. People have already started to buy the dip on the open. If we just look at a 5-minute right here and we look at this after hours right here, we can see, look at that first 5-minute candle. That went all the way up above 600. If it can hold 600, maybe we start to turn. But again, earnings are the big one. So now, let's look at some other stocks, okay? You want to invest in Anthropic. It's the number one in the App Store, and you want to invest in it. Chris Camillo is giving you a back door to Anthropic. And this is, by the way, it's been out in the market. I just haven't really noticed it that much. And even Chris says he didn't notice it for a very long time. But it's a South Korea company, SK Telecom, okay? SK Telecom in January, it was noted SK Telecom has a huge investment in Anthropic. The stock shot up from 20 all the way up to 33. Within 3 weeks, we've started to settle down. Does this one make sense? Well, go and use the tools that you have. As this fight with Anthropic, with the government comes, this one's going to start pulling back. You're already down to 30 all the way from 33. So that's a 10% pullback. Will you start to buy into this one? Because right now, the MACD is way above the oscillator. The RSI was at 86. It's now at 73. The 4-hour algorithm makes you 47%. 47%. It got you in here at $20. Average win, 7.5%. This particular one, I'd probably be taking profits on this one, to be honest with you. It's up 50% in 60 days. It's a good one. Watch this video because, again, this pop is exactly what Chris and those guys are talking about. But that's how to use this stuff. And I talk about free tools all the time. I used free tools and I used FinViz all the time. Last week, I mentioned buying Netflix under the 200-day moving average. Golden opportunity. Here's a free scanner from FinViz. If you're looking for stocks around the 200-day, keep a watch list because a good company around the 200-day is just too cheap. And again, FinViz is guiding you through the screener. Now, I absolutely loved this particular one from Howard Marks. Risk and return. It's not a single line. And he goes over that. The left axis is risk. The bottom axis is return. He says there's a much better way of doing this. He developed his own risk return. Okay? I can tell you personally, it's when you manage a 7 and 8 figure net worth portfolio, I need to dial back risk, and this guides me through it perfectly. Some investments don't make sense in taking. Some do. Even though they've SanDisk, great example. Was it worth the risk for me to buy at the all-time high? No, but it continues to print all-time highs. I know a 7 or 8 figure portfolio, I'm not going to grow that at 40% a year like I used to when I had a 6-figure portfolio. So this just hit me. The linear relationship of risk and return doesn't apply. It's more like those little bubbles. So this is like a 1-minute thing. Understand your risk reward. And for some reason, again, Wall Street doesn't want you to know this. Claude can now analyze any stock like a Wall Street analyst. I don't know why you wouldn't get Sidekick. I don't know why you wouldn't want to get a 2-week trial and try Sidekick. But if you have Claude, set up your own Sidekick. You probably can't. Again, Sidekick is a walled garden. It only takes certain information. So they've got all the data in there. But if you want some prompts to set up your own AI, here it is. This is all of the prompts that you can do. Okay? And the AI investor here, Stanley Druckenmiller, NVIDIA went from 150 to 800. He was in it long term. I couldn't deal with it, so I sold. It went to 1,400 5 weeks later, and he was sick. It's amazing how little he knew about NVIDIA. You don't need to know everything about a stock. You need to know its moat. I brought up all those photonic stuffs. Do I completely understand it? No. But AAOI, we can look at that one. It's up 25% again at 105. I can guarantee you I don't know everything about that, but I use the quant and I use Trendspider to do my research. So I'm not going in blind. I'm just not doing 40 hours of research on one stock. That makes no sense to me. And so I follow Chris Camillo, and I've mentioned him a bunch in here, okay? And I know he's big on Amazon. I don't know how big his position is, but I talked to some of his friends this weekend, and he's in big. And I'm not an expert about prompting, but I wanted to create my own Chris Camillo. So I asked Perplexity, imagine you are investing legend Chris Camillo, who uses social arbitrage to manage his investments. I would like you to research Google Trends, TikTok mentions, and all the social media metrics of potential new investments. Can you create this prompt to set up a Perplexity so I can simply ask it to update a Chris Camillo style investment? Ask me anything you need to know before proceeding. And it asked me a bunch of questions. I answered it. And it said, fine, Perplexity is now configured as Chris Camillo, the social arbitrage investing legend from Dumb Money Podcast. I'll analyze public web data on Google Trends, TikTok mentions, secondary sources like article and trend reports, and broad social media buzz, X, Reddit, YouTube, to spot emerging trends before Wall Street. Focus U.S. listed equities, ETFs, and sectors only. Core process. I spot dumb money trends from real-world social media. Usage examples, update Chris Camillo view on Celsius, new social arb ideas, blah, blah, blah. Drop a query to start. So go and ask it, hey, what are the current social arbitrage? Like you can do, it brought up a ticker. Celsius, high conviction, early edge, monster, medium crowded, action, high conviction, add if under 80, watch for fade. And so it goes through this kind of stuff. Again, use the tools that you have in front of you. I am very clear here on Linktree. You can order the tools. My newsletter is free. You can get the newsletter accompanied with the podcast. I do have Tuesday office hours, so you can ask me about that stuff. I get the premium and alpha picks. This is the sweet spot. The alpha picks portfolio, it is a no-brainer. And then I use Trendspider. So if you have any questions, again, even my email is up there on Linktree. Have a great day. I hope you're not down as much as I am. But again, I am going to absolutely 100%. We're already coming back. QQQ is back above 600. So I think people are looking and saying, hey, any reaction in the market is an overreaction. NVIDIA, Palantir's up 4%. NVIDIA, all of a sudden, remember when they when the Sidekick last week said, hey, buy at 175? Guess where it opened today? 175. So again, Sidekick, it's fantastic. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. Long podcast. I think the overall message probably could have been whittled down to about 5 minutes. But I think I gave great stock examples. I think again, you got to whittle around my wordiness sometimes. I think it's an alpha pick. I think it's a strong buy in the quant. And I believe I went over, let me see. Sidekick. Yeah. I asked it, let's see, that was last week, February. Bottom line, you should trim. Do not add before earnings. Goldman Sachs $175 price target. Possible, but unlikely. So, let's see. Do not add. I've been trimming this one. So, I have been trimming it since January. It's been in a clear range. A clear range. It is still a strong buy. It's still, they pre-announced earnings, so we know what earnings are. We know exactly what they're going to announce. We just don't know their guidance. Wall Street loves it. 85% upside. If you had bought this 6 months ago, you're down 10%. But you know what's gotten better? The valuation from an F to a B. Its growth is the same. Profitability, it's gotten better from a C minus to a B. Its momentum is worse, which is concerning because, again, 3 months you're down 31%. Its revisions, though, nobody's bringing their revisions down. So, again, I like this range of adding under 100 and selling when it pops to that 130 level. And that's what Sidekick gave me. So, Rob, that's kind of where I would say, the range is fairly clear. I think I put those in based on Sidekick, but it gave me this buy at 120. I didn't take it. Yeah, I'm big on Bloom Energy. I don't own it. I want to. But again, Bloom Energy, where is it? There it is. February 25th. Bloom Energy, high risk, high reward speculation. Risk reward 2-to-1 to the downside. Downside to 80 versus the upside to 240. So it's saying the upside is 240. So if you buy at 150, your downside is to 80. And then your upside is, to 250. So, yeah. And Rob, the Credo is all about, that Credo is all about the guidance. It's not about the earnings. It's about the guidance. So I don't know that you have a huge pop coming from Credo other than, hey, our earnings were really good and we're going to guide higher. We're still selling a ton. 4-hour algorithm, I mean, I'm fine watching it. I do hold a good amount of this, so it's not like I'm out of it. I think I'm overweight or slightly underweight. I think I'm overweight just because it's a strong buy. ARRY, don't know it. Array Technologies. It's a hold in the quant. It's under, let's see, is it under its 200-day? Yeah. Donovan, I'll guide you towards this. If you think this is a quality stock and a quality business with a moat, again, that's going to be kind of your question. Their upside is 42% to $10. A good company under the 200-day makes sense to buy. I mean, that's on the daily. If you look at the weekly chart, it's not, it's using its 200 weekly as probably close to resistance. So your upside is probably 13 here, buying at 7, but your downside is clearly, about the same. So I don't know the company. I don't know what they do. They're in electronic components and stuff. I mean, they offered weak guidance. Why would you be putting money into a weak guidance stock when you've got something like, LITE, which is just blowing away guidance? A company like AAOI, which is guiding super higher. A company like, Micron, which is guiding higher. I mean, buying Micron at $400 this morning, no brainer. And yeah, NEM, I mean, no brainer. You're close to your 52-week high. But, it's a gold miner. They can make money. No, Seth, I didn't read Steve's article on it. SPYM? Is that one of those? Yeah, that's one of those ETFs that pays you. Spider portfolio. Is this just a... Man, it holds up the S&P 500. I don't know why I'll leave that to Steve Kress to tell you why it fell off a cliff. It was the earnings, though. I mean, it was 100% the earnings, so I'll let them kind of finish that one. He named that a top 2026 stock. I don't exactly... I do own it as a top 2026 and an alpha pick, I believe. So, good morning. It is Monday, March 2nd. Big show. It's going to be another. Okay. We're going to put in this. Boom, 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 boom. And where are my notes? There we go. Copy. Next. Paste. Save. Canva. YouTube thumbnail. Let's put in, you know what? Let's see. A YouTube thumbnail for make it a Iran war photo with tanks and bombed out buildings as the background and no words or titles at all. Do. Ah, thanks, Rob. War. There we go. Let's see if I get a better background. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Customize this template. And we're going to take her out of there. I'm going to copy image. Yeah. Let's take that out. And we'll... There we go. Okay. What is the title of this one? No, I don't like. Let's see. There we go. I like that one. By the dip. And let's see. This is Heartland. Heartland Sands. And we'll put this group. Okay, let's see. I want to let's see. Do I have uploads? I want to yeah, I want to take this one. We're going to download that. I'm going to say can you change this person to a war general dressed in camouflage. Camouflage with a World War II style helmet and a general's uniform and a U.S. soldier uniform. Do not change the face or anything about features. Okay, let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see if it's got guardrails in it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, maybe Nano Banana will do it. Google AI Studio. Okay, let us upload file, image, and run. Take this person and keep the face and no, that didn't do it well. Let's do this. Arms crossed and change the outfit. Make him look like a confident general. A bit of fear. Let's see if it does this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. There we go. This is gonna get a lot of hate. Upload file. Okay, edit. Magic grab. Grab. That's probably not the greatest. I'll probably get canceled for this. But oh well. Put in the seeking alpha here. I'm definitely getting canceled for this one. I'm going to get, I think, a lot of hatred for this one, but we'll put it, I think I mentioned Bloom Energy. Ariane. Nebius. Hymns. Didn't mention AppLovin. Snowflake. Rivian. Micron. CrowdStrike. Amazon. Microsoft. Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely going to get hate for this. But yeah. Definitely going to get hate for this one. I mean, I'm already feeling uncomfortable with that one, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys at noon today. See ya. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.